Hello, and welcome to Indie Encounter. My name is Sandra Laraine Coleman. The mission of our show is to give independent performers and artists access to as wide an audience as possible, and to give you, our viewers, a window into their art, their artistic process, and why they have chosen their particular avenue to connect with the world. All art is about communication and connection. Speaks volumes with just a whisper. Lets dreams dance along ripples. Flows freedom of faith-colored waters. Filled to the knowing with life, laughter, love, and spirit. The river. Let's meet today's indie artist, Reverdia, the River Woman. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's such a blessing to be in your presence. And I remember when I first came on the poetry scene, how you embraced me. You inspired me. And so now today with you sitting here, I'm sitting across from you, and I want you to tell everybody what it's like to be the sage of the poetry community, because that's how I see you. So how do you see yourself? I see you as the sage of the poetry community.
You know, it's been a journey. It's been a long road. It's very humbling, and for me, it comes with a responsibility. And I remember when you came on the scene, and you were just a kid, and I remember thinking, she's got something to say, and I got to pull it out of her. You know, it comes with a responsibility.
Right.
It does, because
right.
now I'm an elder.
Absolutely.
Now I'm an elder.
Absolutely. And as an elder, what advice would you give younger artists, poets, that see themselves as artists and poets? What advice would you give them?
You know, as a poet, as an artist, you've got to follow your heart. You've got to follow the whispers. You don't have an option. You've got to be honest, and you got to walk in that honesty. And for poets, when you write, if your pen is not bleeding on the page, whether you use a keyboard or not, it's not poetry.
Right.
You can only write about what you know.
Right.
You know, I've heard if you hear a poet talking about somebody else, don't believe them.
Right.
Don't believe them.
But most 9 times out of 10, we're talking about ourselves and our own life experience, and you know, things that have touched us. Like, I know for another artist, Jahad, that was here, she mentioned the story. The story has to be told.
Right.
So for you, what is your inspiration? Where do you draw from? I know the honesty and.
You know, in adolescent conversations, you know, you draw from your girlfriend.
Right.
And even now, I'm sure all of us, even now, you draw from those conversations.
Yes.
But for a poet, those conversations come 24/7.
Yes.
And you can't keep them. You cannot keep them. You can't. It's not healthy.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your mind. It's not good for your spirit. You got to give it up.
Right.
You got to give it up.
Always, always. And not only are you an artist and a poet, but you're also a mom.
I am. I'm a mom. I'm a mother.
Yes.
I am.
So tell us how you balance your creativity and motherhood and everything else that the river has to do. How do you balance all of that?
Well, you know, being out in the arts community, I came to realize that in this country, art is something separate from everyday life. And everywhere else, it's part of everyday life. It's something you're supposed to be doing. It's part of what you do.
Right.
So, being a mother, I'm the river woman. I am. Somebody gave me that name, and it fit.
Yes.
And I'm that with my children, I'm that on my job, I'm that wherever I am. Because if I'm anything else, I'm lying.
Wow.
If I'm anything else, I'm lying.
Wow.
And I have to sleep at night.
Exactly.
And anything else doesn't allow me to sleep, it doesn't allow me to rest.
Right.
You know, I can't, when those whispers come, No, I don't hear voices. When the whispers come, they require an answer.
Right.
They require an answer in my living. They require an answer in my, dealing with my family, dealing with, my loved ones. They require an answer when I put that pen to the paper.
Right. Right. Now, there's, and I don't even know if this was poetry, but we were at a memorial service for Alice the Poet's mom. Mm-hmm. And the most memorable line I have ever heard in my life came from you in regards to her mom. And you said, Mama Nick, scratching answers out of questions. And I thought, oh my goodness, because that's what moms do.
She did. She was, she may not have written it, she lived it, she gave it to us.
Right.
But she would, if there's a question, she'd scratch and dig and prod and pick until she got an answer.
And that was...
And then she'd lay it out for us like it was really simple.
Right, exactly. And so when you said that, I thought about that. I thought about all the moms, even my mom. And I was like, wow, that's what they do. Their questions are constantly coming at them, but here they are scratching out the answers and digging, like you said, and prodding. So
we do.
Yeah, we do.
We do. We do it. We do it in our quiet.
Yes.
We do it in our stillness. When we go to sleep at night, we pull the covers off our shoulder, we do it then.
Yes.
You have to live it. You got to live it.
And
because life's not worth living if you don't.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And so you brought some poetry.
I did.
That you're going to share with us. And the first one speaks to...
how artists become artists, how poets become poets.
Right.
I ran into a woman that I hadn't seen in maybe 50 years.
Wow.
And she looked at me, she called me by my name. She said, I remember you, I remember your eyes. She said, I'll never forget you. And she said, I have some stories to tell you, let's go to lunch. So we went to lunch and she told me some stories, and this is what came of it.
Okay.
This is called Auto-poetography, the Authorized account. Now, I do not memorize my work because my other responsibility is the man that owned my great-grandmother's mother taught her and their 5 children to read.
Wow.
So I always make it a point to read. I want to see me through your eyes. Tell me what you saw when I was little and defenseless and wildly wonderful, while I was spinning in the heat of chaos and confusion, being tossed to and fro with every wind of debate and difference. What color was my hair? Was it really red, or was that more drama? Did my eyes widen in curiosity, or did they dull at violently flung anger? What color were my tears? Did I cry very much, or was I the toddler warrior? What was the land called that my battle was fought on? Did I win? I thought no one knew. I was a 3-foot-tall samurai without benefit of sensei. I was Napoleon's Waterloo in a spill-proof cup, Custer's defeat in contemptuous confrontation, big enough to defeat a small army of ants. Okay, a marching line of them on a back porch door jam. I thought I was alone and no one could see. The me fighting to just peacefully be, a little wonder expecting Neverland, waiting for Peter Pan's knock at my back door to steal me away at midday from my concrete dreams, depositing me safely in the arms of Tiger Lily. Somehow I knew I'd fit. I was determined to fly, rise above 5 descending cement steps out of my imaginary London nursery window. Always falling on my resolve, sliding into disappointment, got shin scars to prove my reaching, for dreams weighted down with concrete opinions, like family mafia murdering my potential. Still, my faith drags the bottom of familiar ocean, like African bodies on Atlantic floors still call out for a return to home. I screamed bloodletting whispers, afraid no one heard my simplistic cry for help, for freedom, for my childhood. I was determined to fly. I thought no one knew. Thought I was invisible, adopted, unimportant. Undone before my puzzle pieces could identify who I was. My hands weren't big enough to carry my diminutive scattered pieces. Premature wisdom like a rainbow banner over my questions. Knew the answer and unspoken intuition stirring gently in a 3-year-old's chest. My heart was bigger than I, my passion bigger than prejudiced expectations, my dreams bigger than daylight. You say you saw a survivor? I learned to swim early, thrown in torrential envy of adult woman, intimidated by innocence. Words with frayed edges like old rusted saw cut through my confidence, separated me from Renaissance roots of creativity, jagged cutting of imagination's extended arms, blunt force trauma, bludgeoning my song, orange notes, magenta melodies, and silver chords. They suffocated. Waiting for miracle touch in history lesson, resurrecting dry riverbed, where arid ground still twinkles with fallen wished-on stars. Flying and swimming look the same from out here in angry hope isolation. Sounds like city and state, maybe sitting in state, or stinging commentate, or stand up straight. Digging in my past like geologist PhD, carefully dusting, keeping pieces intact. Reconstructing fossil recollection of fact. Excuse me. That previously refused recognition, refused to acknowledge my existence. Like the lady said, "Dear God, I'm here." You recognized me 50 years later, said my eyes were the same, showed me history through your loving eyes. I thought no one knew. I thought no one cared. Thought no one saw. Thought no one was watching. Thought no one could hear my softest flannel moans. Thank you for seeing me through your eyes. I knew God knew. And now I know it was you who prayed me through.
Wow. Wow. Dreams bigger than daylight. Wow. And when I say the sage of the poetry community, things like that, things that we've forgotten, that when we hear you, we remember. We remember ourselves. Like when I heard you, I was remembering myself and when I had dreams bigger than daylight.
We do.
Yes.
We do.
And so there's another thing that you do when you are on stage or performing, and you walk on stage without shoes.
Without shoes?
Yes. Tell us why you walk on stage
Why?
without shoes.
You know, words are powerful.
Yes.
They change things. They create what's going on around us, whether we do it consciously or not.
Right.
So when I do poetry, I feel like I'm standing on holy ground.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, there can be nothing between me and the ground I'm standing on.
Wow.
Because I need to be able to connect.
Exactly. And that's what we're supposed to do. And with me doing African dance and being in the community for a long time, I understand. At first I didn't understand why you did that, but now I do, because you do have to have that connection between yourself and the earth and nothing in between.
Yeah, you do.
So I understand it. I want to thank you because you introduced that to me as well. And even though I took it in another direction, I understand.
Well, you know what? As an artist, and I think about this quite a bit now because I have a grandson that'll be 3 years old in a couple of days.
Wow.
And he's an artist. He is. And I loved running around in my bare feet when I was little. I did not like shoes. I still don't like shoes.
Right.
But that was part of who I was.
Right. And it's okay not to like shoes.
It's okay.
It's perfectly fine not
It's
to like
okay.
shoes. And it's perfectly okay to walk on stage without shoes on.
Yeah, it is.
And connect. And let the words change things.
Yeah, see, and that's part of following your heart.
Yes. And so I want to thank you personally for encouraging me to follow my heart, because I think had it not been for you and your encouragement, I probably would have stopped at that point where you met me. I probably would have.
Really?
Yeah. And I want to thank you personally for that. And I so appreciate you. And it's always a blessing to know that there's a Reverdia, the river, with encouragement, with spirit, with love, with guidance, with, you know, whatever it is that I need at that moment. It's a blessing to know that you're there.
And see, when you say that to me, that reminds me, you got to keep following the water. You got to keep following what you hear.
Yes. And I want to thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You know I love you.
I know I love you too.
And now everybody else loves you.
Okay. All right.
So another thing that I want to talk about, you have workshops. And
I do.
yes, you facilitate like a woman's group.
It's a creativity workshop. I call
okay.
it a creativity workshop because we're all creating something. And I believe, I've got proof that there is a creator.
Yes.
And you connect them, we connect with that creator at every step, at every move, at every turn of your head, at every blink of your eye, at every tear you drop, every howl you laugh.
Yes.
And living in the world the way it is now, we deny, we refuse, we resist
Yes.
that still small voice that is determined to get through to us who we are and to walk in who we are.
Right.
And so it could be a little thing like something as simple as being afraid to drive on the freeway. Something as simple as double guessing yourself.
Right.
And this workshop eliminates all of that.
Wonderful.
And we write.
Wonderful.
We write. We write in a way where there's no reserve. There's no guidelines. You just write.
Right.
You know, we do a type of quiet meditation because I feel like that quiet time is important. That's yours.
Right.
And you need it, and you need to do it. You need to
Absolutely.
center in who you are because that's where your power is. That's what gets you through the job every day. That's what feeds your children. That's what gets you through school. That's what gets you to what you want to do.
Right.
And so that's what we do.
Okay.
We get to that place. It's a
And-
safe place to get free.
Absolutely. And the best way to do it. And where is the workshop located?
Right now it's in my home.
Okay.
It's growing. So the venue is about to change. I'm not quite sure where we're going yet, but it won't be
Okay.
far.
Okay. Okay. And so if someone in our audience wants to contact you as far as your workshop or anything, like for their
can-
church event, any kind of event,
Contact me by email.
okay, and your email is?
It is reverdia@aol.com. It's real simple.
It's really simple. Really simple. And use it. Use it. Because everybody needs to go to the river. You know what I mean? Everybody needs to go to the river. And I just am so blessed. And the poetry community is blessed because, like I said, the sage of the poetry community and my sage. And so I'm in total appreciation of everything that you are and everything that you're doing, not only to promote the art, but to promote women, to promote self-awareness, spirituality. And so you mentioned earlier about the responsibility. And so are there times when you just like have days when you're just like, you know what, this is just too much?
Oh yeah, there's a space under my bed for that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yes. You know, we all get overwhelmed.
Right.
And let me say now that, you know, the fellas need as much love as we do.
Yes.
They need as much love as we do because, you know, we have to nurture each other.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, there are times when I get tired.
Okay.
Sure there are.
Because you're human.
Yeah, I turn off the phone, I turn off the TV.
Hmm.
I never turn off the music though. And I just get quiet.
Yeah.
I just get quiet. I'm not home. Anybody calls, I'll call them back. No, I can't go here. No, I can't go there. I have to get quiet.
Right.
I have to shut the chaos out. I have to shut the world out.
Right. Okay, and so now you have more poetry, and so the next piece speaks to woman or mommy?
Well, let me see.
Or mama.
Let's see, where we going to go from here?
Because when your kids get a certain age, it's not mommy anymore, it's mama.
It's mom, and in my case, sometimes it's my first name. That's another story. Yeah, we'll do mama.
Okay.
Mama, my dear mommy, mom, mother dear, it's in the M's. Comfort, calm, refuge, affection, strength, provision, fortitude, determination, power, and prayer. We love and question, draw lines in the sand, wait and hope. We love and debate, carry whole human beings in our bodies, birth them in compromise. Some say at the edge of death and life in the same moment, sacrifice simple sleep and self. We become homemade doctors, lawyers, counselors, ministers, teachers, prophets, soothsayers, medicine women, voodoo priests, repentant and aggressive, all at the same time. We wander in quiet moments, bathe in afternoon setting sun, inhale early morning mercy, clothed in summer night sky, run naked through day's demands, stand murderous between them and ours, lay our lives down in prayer, promises for decent grades, stand toe to toe with the threat of catastrophe, lay prostrate in tears of thanks for the acknowledging of curfew, celebrate young worldly acceptance of difference and responsibility, stand back in awe of growing wisdom and hard choices, cup our hands in chalice for tears, knowing their pain must be their own, their struggles belong to them, their growth is to their credit. Chasing down and tackling out of breath the resolve to allow them to be their own, to allow them their own battles, because it makes them who they are. While we feed, and while we feel helpless and humble at life's moving forward, we bathe in cheap bubbles for hours, just to resume some human form of balance. Imagine Jamaican sands across gritty kitchen floors, flinch at their trembling hormones, double over at the paining of our empty wombs when their broken hearts demonstrate reality, and settle in supportive moans, simply allowing them to live their own way without feeling rejection, knowing that God will keep them just as He kept and keeps us, forever remembering that we are favored and shielded with love. Accepting that love means letting go and holding on without detection. Falling asleep at night or for a rare afternoon nap, knowing that we can do no more, and knowing that we can no more control them than keep them inside our protective bodies forever.
Wow.
Is that true?
Yes, it's very true. And we do wish we could keep them protected forever, but we can't. We have to let them grow. And so I'm sure that's like even with the poetry, you know, we want to protect that too. We want to protect our art.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you do.
But we can't protect it. We have to let it stand on its own.
You have to let it go.
You have to let it go. We have to.
You have to let it go.
Yes. And so this has been such a tremendous opportunity to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Sandra.
It's such a blessing.
It means as much to me, and I feel as blessed as you do, knowing that you came to that cafe as a kid with a piece of poetry that sounded like a cheap Hallmark card. Okay, I'm just telling the truth.
I believe you.
But from there, you've grown into a beautiful woman. You've embraced your art, and you're pulling others in with you, and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. And I thank you because you've allowed me to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. I so appreciate you and everything that you do in the poetry community, and I love you.
I love you too, girl. Love you too.
This has been Indie Encounter, a journey into the world of the independent creators of art and artistic communication. I want to thank today's guest, Reverdia, for sharing her vision with us. If you want to find out more about today's guest, check her out on Facebook/Reverdia. Also, check out our website here at PasadenaCommunityNetwork.com and select the Arroyo channel. Thanks to our director, Lilia Fernandez Gaspar, and to our crew for making the show possible. Thanks to all of you. We hope to see you here again when we embark on another Indie Encounter.